guys, my name is Megan Harding, and recently for a project I was asked to talk about one of the most challenging moments of my life that I've had to go through. So I decided for my project that I would use YouTube because then, maybe my story can touch other people as well. So I graduated from one of the smallest high schools ever. It's called Shenango High School. It's in Newcastle, PA. You've probably never heard of it. That's alright. But it got me here to West Virginia, so couldn't have been too bad. But I had like the typical senior high school experience, minus the fact that I almost lost my life. And how I almost lost my life was brought on by me. And that is why I'm here right now, telling this story to the world. I, had always been just like the girl that was always just there. I'm about 5'8". I weighed about 140 at the beginning of my senior year. Pretty average. And then I decided that I was going to start doing track. And I am very uncoordinated, and I've never really done any sports, so that kind of came out of nowhere, but thought I would try it out, and I loved it. And through all of our pre-training in October and November of my senior year, I obviously knew all the girls I was running against have been doing it forever, so I had a lot of pressure to catch up to where they were. So I pushed myself over and over, and I still loved it though, even though I was pretty physically exhausted at this point. And I had a couple of people tell me, like outside sources, that if I lost a few pounds, that I would be in the best shape for jumping, which is what they wanted me to do. And of course, I did it. I lost 5 pounds. I was down to 135. I felt great. I was eating so healthy, and I started lifting. Best shape of my life. And I continued, to run and to jump, and I fell in love with the results. And I just kept dropping weight and dropping weight. And eventually it became an obsession. I got to the extent that I was actually leaving high school early, especially once I turned 18. That did it for me. I was writing my own notes to get out of school, saying I had doctor's appointments, and going to the gym. I would be at the gym for 4 or 5 hours a day. And that's great, that's dandy, but I wasn't eating enough either to meet that kind of exertion I was putting on myself. I started using this app called MyFitnessPal, and I know a lot of people that still use it, and they use it the right way. Great. I became obsessed. I would take a bite of food, and I'd have to calculate it. And I still, even now to this day, know calorie counts of every food, and I shouldn't know every calorie count like that, but I do. I just ignore it now, but it's still there. And I was maybe eating a max of about 600 calories a day, mind you, still exerting myself about 5 hours a day. So if you do the math there, not good. I ended up, by graduation, I only weighed 95 pounds. And like I said, for my build, that's not good. I didn't see it. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, how do you not see yourself wasting away like that? But every time I looked in the mirror, I just saw, like, oh, I could keep improving that. I could keep improving that. I never really starved myself. I never made myself throw up. I never had any of those kind of urges. I wasn't trying to drop weight. I just was trying to attain this, like, ultimate healthy feeling, and in the process, I didn't realize I was actually killing myself. I remember I was at the gym the one day, and I was lifting with one of my friends, and she looked at me, and kind of funny, and she goes, "Megan, what's up with your lips?" And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, "Are you drinking, like, blue Gatorade or something?" And I was like, "No, why?" She goes, "Look in the mirror at your lips." My lips had turned completely blue. I looked down at my nails, they were completely blue. And as soon as she said that, and I saw it, I blacked out. And I ended up in the emergency room, and they told me that my heart had stopped in the process of me blacking out. And, you know, it's sad, that still wasn't enough for me. I know at this point you're thinking, okay, what kind of parents does this girl have that they wouldn't stop her? Or what kind of friends, or what kind of teacher? Like, how couldn't people stop me? And the truth was that everyone around me was scared. Nobody knew what to do. I was still eating, you know? I was just doing such healthy behaviors, but I turned them into something unhealthy. And no one really knew what it was or how to help me. And I just kept going and going. Even after my heart stopped, I just kept going and going. I lost my period. I still haven't gotten it back. So I am now at risk of not being fertile and not being able to have children. I was losing my hair. I started developing lanugo all over, which is just basically the hair that you're born with, which just means that your body isn't getting enough nutrients. I remember I bought my prom dress that year back right when I started track in October. And I tried it on again like 2 weeks before my prom. And, you know, senior prom, it's one of the biggest nights of your life. And I was so excited, I went upstairs and I tried it on. And I tried to zip it up. My mom was waiting downstairs for me to come down in it. And as soon as I pulled it up, it fell right back down. And for the first time in about 6 months, I saw what I did to myself. I saw, you know, for the first time, what I actually looked like. And I remember I just rolled up in a ball on my floor, and I cried. And honestly, I made myself sick, because I, for the first time, saw, like, how bad my bones were sticking out of my collarbones, and how I was actually in pain to sleep, because my hip bones were protruding so bad from my back that I couldn't sleep at night. I was having issues breathing. I couldn't do anything without getting exhausted. And, like, I mean, even just aside from the physical aspect of it, like, I lost everybody my senior year. Like, nobody wanted to be friends with the girl that had meal plans and had all this food always pre-packaged and pre-made, and I was afraid to go out to eat. I came up with excuses so I wouldn't have to eat dinner with my parents or family dinners. I made my own food. Like, for my birthday, God, my birthday was a nightmare, because my birthday is April 5th. So if you do the math, that's right between when my heart stopped and prom. So that was right at the worst of it. And I remember I fought with my parents. I wouldn't eat a cake. I forced them, for my birthday cake, to go get me a bag of carrots. Happy 18th birthday. I mean, I know people that hear my story just think that I was being a stupid teen and trying to get attention, or that I just that I had anorexia. And you know what? I probably did have, I take that back. I know I had symptoms of anorexia too. But I never was doing it for attention. It was for me, but in the process, I was destroying myself. And, you know, I had all these people around me that I graduated with that I thought were like really good friends. And it showed me they weren't that great. None of them tried to help me. I never felt so alone in my life until I went to the doctor, and my parents forced me finally to go, and it's when it started, to change. And I'm not going to sit here and say that like going to the doctor was like some miracle change for me. Like, I still struggled with it up until about Christmas of this past year. Anytime I get really stressed out here at school, like, of course those thoughts come back in my head. And like, all last semester I still spent every day at the rec here at WVU lifting and eating, my healthy little meals, and I wouldn't go out and drink because God forbid beer has too many calories. But, I don't know what flipped in me, but just when I came back, like New Year's Eve, I made a resolution to myself that I was going to change this semester, and I was going to go meet people, and I was going to be, a stupid college kid and go drink and gain weight and do all those things that I missed out on in high school because I was too afraid of gaining weight or not getting my workout in. And I don't want to say like that I hated my entire high school experience because of it, because I loved high school, and there are people I graduated with that I'm still very close to, but now I'm finally living again. Like, when I lost all that weight, I didn't just lose weight, I lost myself. And it has been one of the toughest struggles now for me to gain, along with the weight, to gain my life back. And I can finally say I am back at my old weight. I just reached it, and it has been exactly now about 1 year. It has been the hardest struggle of my life, and just earning my parents' trust back, and earning my friendships back. And one of the hardest things too for my parents, like, I'll never be able to make up the pain that I caused them or a lot of the people around me. And that for me is one of the hardest parts of all of this, because like, I can't take back what I did. Like, I can gain the weight back, I can gain my health back, but like, that is permanently done. But I'm working every day to fix my relationships with people, fix my relationships with food and exercise, and most importantly, just myself. And I guess that's my overall message from this, that, I'm not trying to, put down exercise or healthy eating. Believe me, it's amazing what it can do for you when it's done the right way. Even healthy things can be done in excess and become unhealthy. And that's with anything in life. Too much of a good thing is never a good thing. And my disorder actually was recently classified, finally, as orthoexia, which is an unhealthy obsession with healthy eating and exercise. So, I'm just here to spread the word about orthoexia, and I'm trying every day to just keep bettering myself and, those around me, and just tell my story. Because if I can help one person avoid everything that I've done to myself, it's worth it to me. Because as tonight, I will take 12 pills for all of my various functions of my body that I destroyed. My kidneys, my liver, my ovaries, I could go on, my heart, I can go on and on. It just reminds me every day of what I'm fighting for. So just, if you are struggling with something similar to this, or anything really, just hang in there. No matter how bad things seem, you can do it. You can overcome anything. And I am the prime example of that. You know, my parents didn't really want me to come to WVU after all this. They wanted me to stay close for a semester, take time off, just get back to me. And you know what? For me, the best way to help myself was to leave and to be on my own and be forced to change. And that's what I've done. So that's my story, and that's how I'm sitting here right now at WVU with all my weight back and feeling better than I ever have, and better than any feeling that food in a gym could ever give me. So if you ever, any of you, ever just need somebody to talk to, or you don't know where you're headed, or you just feel alone, I'm here. Because I remember how low I felt and how much of a difference just somebody talking and being there for me would have made. So, thanks for listening.